some disagreement. Our guest in the studio, Mr. Alipui, who is a very important resource person for us tonight because he has practiced with the African Union as an economist. He's been with International Trade and Investment. He's a consultant on International Trade and Investment for Afri-Invest, but he's been working at the African Union for a very long time. We'll ask him why trade barriers still exist many years after the African Union thought that trade was the first sort of infrastructure to deconstruct and create a new one. Mr.Bensah is with the Third World Network and is a communications officer. I'd like to begin with you, Emmanuel. Looking at the African Union, which is 50 years old, I believe that is older than you. As a young African looking at this institution, would it mean to you what the European Union will mean to a European?
I think on the face of it, it's very easy to make a the AU. First of all, the name African Union, European Union, and even the name change. A lot of, let's say, skeptics of the AU always turn to the semantics to use that as a basis for even saying that, you know, the African Union is simply replicating the EU. But I think there's a lot more to it than that. The African, for me, it's, as I said elsewhere, the African Union is an expression of what Nkrumah called the African personality. I mean, we all know about Nkrumah, NASA, and Ethiopia's efforts in African unity. But I think what is most important is the fact that it's endured for 5 decades, despite all the criticisms, despite all the shenanigans of the West and whatnot. I think it has endured. And in
has it really endured? What has it come under some challenges to?
Some challenges is an understatement.
Challenges to erase itself. Has there been an effort to undo the African Union? Because you say that it survived. If it's of no consequence, nobody really cares. So you can't attach survival as credit to an organization that people think is really of no consequence.
Well, I think your point is well taken, but I think even before we start, we have to look at it. There are two separate things, as we well know. All the way to 2002, when finally the African Union. And naturally, I have to credit the efforts of Gaddafi, as eccentric as he was. I mean, it's thanks to people like him, with the CERTA Declaration, 9 September 1999, who chose to fast-track the African Union continental integration. And the African Union, in fact, was established precisely to fast-track what had been decided way back in 1991, which was the Abuja Treaty. Because a lot of times skeptics talk about the African Union with all the despots as a club of dictators, and I fully understand and I can appreciate that. But we also have to remember that the Africans had a plan. There was the Lagos Plan of Action, then there was the Abuja Treaty, which really is what technically the African Union is operating as a basis. The Abuja Treaty was 1991, June 1991. That has been a continental framework for integration, for unity in 6 steps, 3 regional, 3 continental. And even to the extent that the Pan-African Parliament, which was supposed to be established in the latter stages of the whole unity project, has been established much earlier, 2004, with its headquarters in Midrand in South Africa. So there's a plan, and there have been tons of publications both by the UN institutions and the African Union itself, pointing to the efforts of African integration. For example, back in 2006, and I think 2006.
Before I come to Frederick.